All right, all right. Let's get this thing going. This is a great way to start a show. So this is the Venti. This is how I'm starting my show this evening. This is the Venti. The Venti is by Storz and Bickel, a German engineering of flower vaporizer. Probably hands down the best flower vaporizer on the market. See that? It just buzzed. It went green. That means it's ready. But I'm going to give it an extra second. Welcome, everybody, to Highly Motivated, an exciting evening with cannabis community and then some. Remember, you don't have to smoke, toke, rub it on your body, drink it, eat it, whatever it might be. You don't need to. You're still welcome here in this I can't even say it, this community smoke sesh, this get together of like-minded souls, individuals, just pure joy, energy, and just greatness coming from this podcast. Okay, so because we're a community, starting with the Venti, let's get things going. I've got some really lovely things to smoke tonight. You notice you didn't see any smoke. It's not about how much smoke you see. It's about what you taste. But the longer I use it, the more smoke that creates. Welcome, everybody. Tonight, we hotbox the hotbox. The room is called the hotbox. This is the studio, amongst storage, giant closet, many other things. And tonight, it is exceptionally hot. Either that or I'm having a lot of difficulty regulating body heat because tonight is a rare night. Because tonight I had to take a codeine, Oxycontin. I had to take codeine. Now my eye, this eye, I'm like this eye, I can't see anything out of this eye right now. I'm totally blind from the left side. Stupid grower, Steven, welcome. Highly motivated. So tonight I'm in a little bit of pain. I've got a pretty bad headache. But I'm still pumped. I'm still motivated. I'm still excited and incredibly enthusiastic because we're halfway through already a killer week. We are halfway through already incredible excitement. So much going on. So because I felt that energy, I couldn't skip the show tonight. Now, my eye is pretty bad. Last night, we went out to dinner. Very smooth, by the way. Everything I've been smoking out of the Venti, even when it's done, I just want to tell you, even when I'm done smoking, like you can taste it's starting to go a little more popcorny, the taste is still great. The taste is still great. So I don't stop smoking. I don't stop smoking until it doesn't taste good. I have it at such a low heat, you don't have to stop. You can keep puffing and puffing because you're only doing a very low heat decarboxylation. Okay, so last night, me and the family, everybody went out for dinner. God, it's so hot in here. We went out for dinner, and my daughter had a Dr. Pepper. Usually she doesn't have soda, and so had a little more sugar running through her body than usual because Daddy had one, she had to have one. But I didn't notice how much of it she drank. So all hopped up on sugar, and not her fault. Sweetest child in the world, but not her fault. But she poked me in the eye. She didn't just poke me in the eye. She lacerated my cornea. There are two like crisscross lacerations on my eye. So last night after the dinner, I drove everybody home, but I couldn't see. I was like, I'm squint the whole time. I'm driving like this. And I'm looking. I'm like, I can't see anything. I got back to the house and it hurt. I mean, it was hurting me, but it wasn't unbearable, but it was painful. Went to sleep, woke up this morning, and my eye was pretty much shut. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see anything. So this morning was a little rough, and I ended up going to the emergency room where they numbed my eye and let me know that it was infected. It got infected overnight, which I should have gone directly to the hospital, but I didn't originally. So it got infected overnight, and then I went blind. I'm like blind. So the stuff they give me, so because there's pretty large cuts in the eye right now, the stuff they give me the antibiotics, the direct antibiotics, they go directly in the eye. So the direct antibiotics, they burn so badly. So I just want to let you know what I'm going through tonight. And I took codeine. I don't ever take prescription medication like that. I just don't. I'm most of the time only cannabis, and for all of my pain issues, I would use a sativa. Still tastes fine. You notice how I leave this on the whole time? The venti is still on. It's still heating. That's really nice. All right, let me turn that off for now. Let's move into some other things. So normally I stick to just cannabis for my pain needs. Oh, ow, I shouldn't have touched the eye. For my pain needs, but this evening it was much worse. It was definitely more uh, more painful, more overwhelming than I'm used to. So I that's why right now I'm probably not completely in my right mind because I'm not used to pain pills. I mean, has it helped me? Yes, it took the intensity of the pain away. But really, that's just the beginning of it because you know I've got to do this cream, right? You got to do this crazy cream, this antibiotic cream, every so often, and so it's cornea lacerations I'm dealing with. Just crazy, crazy how one poke in the eye can cause so much damage. Mm. But come next day, it did. So, anyways, went to the emergency room, got medication, and then got back on the road. Can't let a day be wasted. You know, every day is so important, so busy, and there's so much to get to. Damaged or not, injured or not, back on the road. But you know, it is things like that also tell me how fragile I really am. Things like that let me know that I'm much more fragile than I think, and I need to take it easy. I need to take it easy, and I guess that's the moral of my own story. I don't know. Anyway, anyways, welcome everybody. Whether I am all with it or not tonight, I appreciate your attendance, and we're about to start smoking some very stinky stinkies. Let me tell you what it is because I didn't even look to see what it was. I rolled it up and it was just wow. It was smelly. It was overwhelming. Definitely skunky. I can't see which one this is. The name is covered up. Let me just go deeper here. Okay. Noxious. This is noxious? Noxious. Noxious. With a name like that, I should hope it is the stinkiest of stinkies. So here's what we're going to do. We're getting out the Timu ceremonial knife. So the ceremonial Timu knife, and we're going to cut the ends off of my little candy wrapper. That's what I call them. I call it a candy wrapper because it's an easy way for me not only to close up the ends, but to give it a little shake, make sure that there's no air pockets. So I chop it at both ends. Very serious, ceremonious, very ceremonious. Wow, so hot. Wow. I every time I say that before the show, I was like, do I have a fan? So we found a giant box fan, but it's so loud. I tested it out. I was like, it's like a jet is flying through the show. So I was like, no, we're going to deal with the heat just a little bit longer. We're going to deal with this stifling hot boxing. And so I just rolled these right before the show. Okay. How's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully, everyone's having a fantastic evening. We are halfway through the week, halfway through a created week. Remember, days are only days. They're only days if you keep track. You know, Monday's only Monday if you know it's Monday. Monday's only a Monday if you know it's a Monday. Okay. Here we go. So this is Noxious from Goldflower. You know, something to start with tonight, I do want to mention. Goldflower has been rocking incredible deals. Now, who is Goldflower? If you don't know, they're a medical cannabis provider here in the state of Florida. And I'll tell you something incredible. Like, not just incredible product, but their prices have been incredible. Their deals have been like astronomical. Look, let me tell you one of the deals that we're dealing with. $10 eighths. $10 eighths. What? Tell me that's not incredible. A $10 eighth. That's 3.5 grams of super high grade exotic for $10. And then also, I think their gummies were $10. They had $10 what was it, RSO plus? Here, I picked up a couple of these. These were $10 each. Tell me how crazy that is. RSO plus is a sativa RSO. I love sativas, and sativas are incredible for the body in so many different ways, but I love sativas. So that being said, RSO plus, incredible, $10. So $10 RSO, $10 rosins, $10 $10 gummies. Ooh, and speaking of the gummies, these are the live rosin chews. Man, I ate two of these, I was out. I was done. I had the grapefruit, I think it was. I think it was the grapefruit. I had two of them. I was done. I couldn't move. My whole body was just like, hey, all right. It was great. They worked great. They were very actually, I think that's why I didn't feel the eye pain. Because when I got back, I took two of those, and last night I didn't feel any pain. Fell asleep and passed out. Passed out. Woke up this morning, the eye was infected. Um, yeah, it was just crazy. It was wild. Um, so, anyways, that being said, wow. So great gummies, great deals, great eighths. Suno, the RSO plus, wow, $10. So if you're in Florida and you have a medical cannabis card, you've got to check out Goldflower. If you haven't checked them out yet, you're missing out. You are missing out. The deals are the best. The product is the best. The people are the best. That being said, let's get this noxious lit up. It's not going to be a super long show tonight, only because I'm in a lot of pain. It's not going to be a super long show. I'm in a super amount of pain, terrible headache. I'm hoping the noxious kind of tapers it a bit. Got a bit of a flavor here. Maybe I rolled it too tight. Maybe I'm just going to do. I'm doing as you see, I go down the joint and I'm just kind of feeling it, making sure that there's proper air pockets so I can get a good hit. Okay. That's better. It was very skunky and cheesy. So when I opened up the package, just skunk and cheese and just some incredible smells. So I'm going to see how this relates because my body, look, your nose knows. When you smell what you're looking for cannabis wise, like names alone, look, the name gets me excited, but the name doesn't tell me if my body is looking for this. So when I smell good bud, and it activates my brain, and it's like, ooh, wow, what is that? That's telling me that that's what my body's looking for. That's telling me that's what I want to smoke. Good evening, Christopher. Everybody check it out. We got Christopher Cyril over here from LinkedIn. Welcome, Christopher. Welcome to Highly Motivated. Good to have you on the show. So, Chris, I'm just comfortably getting into the show tonight. I have a terrible eye issue. My daughter poked me in the eye last night and gave me double lacerations on my cornea. So I'm on heavy codeine medication and eye numbing stuff and antibiotics. But you know what's crazy about that? It's not helping. Like, you know what's crazy? It doesn't help. The codeine helps, but I don't like that. I don't like pharmaceutical medications. I don't, but it helped. It took away the immediate pain. So tonight I'm going to be on as long as I can be on. I am I'm going to stay on the show as long as I can before I guess the pain is overwhelming. I'm smoking Noxious from Goldflower, one of the $10 eights. Look, $10 eights, $10 gummies. They just relieved the new relieved. They just relieved. They just released the new live rosin gummies, which are insane. Insane. So I tried those last night. Those were incredible. Knocked me on my ass, completely knocked me out. Probably one of the best sleeps. I slept through the infection. I woke up in the morning. I couldn't open my eyes. So it was pretty crazy. But that's what we're dealing with now. A bit of a strong headache, a lot of eye pain, incredible eye pain. I'm like, incredible eye pain. Mm. I guess sometimes when you laugh through the pain, because I'm laughing at my own pain. I'm laughing at it because I'm not giving it the seriousness that it wants. You know, I'm not sitting here with my pain and saying, I'm going to let you get the best of me, or you could take me over and debilitate me. No, I'm not allowing it to take over. I'm not allowing it to debilitate and dictate. I'm not letting my pain dictate how the show should go. Because already my energy is very different. Already I'm feeling very powerful, very energetic, and I like to blame the show for that. I'm like, I like to blame the show for great energy, great people. Yes, taking away pain is perfect, good use of medications. It is. I don't like codeine. I mean, when I say that, I like it a lot. I like morphine. Morphine's a lot of fun, but it's not. It's not. And that's how easily somebody can get addicted to pain medications, which completely destroy your life. I'd rather be addicted to this than addicted to pills. But tonight, I'm on codeine. Oh, and if I start crying out of this eye just nonstop, don't pay attention to it. I'm like, don't pay attention to it. It's just what's going on. It's in a lot of pain. And I'm actually happy that it's open right now. I'm happy that I could keep it open. And that's what we're going for. Okay. Lots of things happening. Look at that. Oh, micro topics. There are some interesting micro topics. I kind of wanted to go back in time. Go back to the 1937. 1937 is pretty much when they started to control and go towards the direction of making cannabis illegal. Even though it was the United States #1 analgesic. Headaches, that's what they looked towards, was cannabis. Arthritis, cannabis. I don't know. There was a lot of different things. Let me open all that up. All right, let me see. Dun, 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 dun. Why we lost cannabis. All right, let me get into that story. Let's go back. All right. Okay, we'll get into that in just a moment. Just a moment. I'm not rushing into topics. Not tonight. Because I'm just trying to balance my pain levels, but at the same time still be open enough for the show. So it's hard to think. It's hard to think. So that's why I'm glad I wrote some things down. It's hard to think because there's a lot going on over here. And I didn't think it was that serious yesterday. I even drove home. It's when I woke up this morning and I looked at Ange and I was like, oh, see, it hurts now. I can't touch it. Oh, I looked at Ange and I was like, I've got to go to the emergency room. I mean, this is really bad. It's like really bad. So, let me just, okay. The eye is pretty red. It's not pink eye. It's scratched corneal lacerations, they said. Mm. You know, somebody once asked me if I'm using codeine or any over-the-counter medications, does cannabis affect those medications? I say yes. I say they make them a little stronger, a little more poignant, a little more useful. A little more useful. I mean, if I take the medication on its own, I get nauseous. If I take codeine on its own, I get nauseous. And I get dizzy and I'm not very controllable. But with cannabis, it doesn't happen that way. With cannabis, there's more control, more understanding with that medication, more balance with my body. So, not as an excuse to do codeine, it's not. This is the rare occasion. The rare occasion this would be done. I went to the ER this morning and they numbed my eye. They put something in my eye that numbed it. It went numb. Like all the pain went away. And I was just like, oh, this is the greatest thing in the world. So I looked at the doctor. I'm like, Doc, can I take this shit home with me? Can I take it home? And he's like, no, you can't. It's only for here. He goes, but it'll last a little bit. I'm like, what's a little bit? He goes, a little bit. I'm like, what's a little bit? He goes, a little bit. He was right, a little bit. By the time I left, the eye hurt again. And I wanted to run back inside and be like, Doc, give me some more of that stuff to the eye. Give me some more of that numbing agent. But no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Mm. This noxious does smoke very smooth. It's a very smooth smoke. It's very, very sticky. So when I was breaking it up, look, I'm not going to show you how dirty my fingernails are, but I break it up by hand. And I was breaking it up a moment ago, right before the show. I rolled 2 joints, and it was so sticky. Like, where'd the other joint go? I'm like, where did the other joint go? What is this? It's like a mystery. Seriously? No. Did it disappear? Shut up. There's no way. No way, I tell you. No. Wait, excuse me. I'm in search of the missing joint. That is no. There's like a leprechaun in here that stole my joint. That's it. That's it. How did this happen? I mean, I can roll another one, obviously, but that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is there is now a Hisnucci missing. It was just right there. Oh, I found it. I was ready to blame it on a leprechaun. I was ready to blame it on a leprechaun. Leprechauns worldwide would have been very angry with my false allegations of them stealing my joint. So, I know, nonsensical and whatever. It is what it is. So tonight's show, micro topics. Let's jump into a few things. Let's jump into, what cannabis was. Before the ban, before 1937, cannabis was many different things. So I want to jump back and find out the ideology, what they were thinking, why they were thinking this way, who was influencing them. Because if you look at the pharmaceutical industry and the individual who pretty much started the pharmaceutical industry is also one of the same people who started the holistic medicine industry and believed very strongly in it. But money changes a person's mind. Money changes their motives and ideologies. The light is extra bright tonight. I'm having a lot of extra trouble with it. I tried turning the light off, but then it got like weird leprechaun green in here. And so there has to be some light bouncing to there has to be some light bouncing to offset some of the colors. Okay. So let's go back. Let's go back before 1937. Let's go back before they banned cannabis. Cannabis was medicine. Cannabis tinctures were standard pharmacy. This is what the pharmacies would stock for pain, for sleep, for spasms, for headaches. It was listed in the US Pharmacopoeia from 1850 until the early 1940s. It was in the Pharmacopoeia, and these are all things that you can look up. I'm not going to tell you anything tonight that is false. That is false narrative. Everything is fact, and everything was going on in this country. Look, I've spoken about it on the show before that I feel like pre-1937, our civilization was different. We had more available technology, more open technology. We had effective holistic medicines until the control of medicine became something else. it's the control of people, control of civilizations. So civilization changed in the early 40s, late 30s. So originally pharmacies stocked cannabis for sleep, for spasms, for headaches, for any kind of pain. Hey, Bang Skateboards, everybody, welcome. Bang! Highly motivated. Good to have you on the show. Good to have your energy here with us as well. See, wherever you're coming to us from, that's energy. Whether it's live on the show or you come some other time, and you watch the show wherever you might catch it. And that's great because sometimes I'm just bumbling along, and other nights there's some really great topics. Tonight, we have a few things happening. And just in case you just tuned in, tonight might not be an incredibly long show. I have a lot of eye pain. Yesterday, I was jabbed in the eye, and I have double lacerations on the cornea. So there's a lot of pain. And about 2 hours ago, I took a codeine. Codeine is not something I'm used to taking. I don't like heavy medications. I only like cannabis. I usually only turn to cannabis for everything. Good evening. I only turn to cannabis for everything. But sometimes pain is overwhelming. And tonight, the eye pain is rather overwhelming. The double lacerations hurt so bad. So I took codeine, and it's helping. And plus the medication they gave me to put in there, the antibiotic. So the antibiotic is like a cream, and it hurts. It hurts. It hurts. So you've got to. I don't know. It's crazy. Schwarzy Pants, welcome. Highly motivated. Good to have you on the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody from every network that you join us on. Mm. So our micro topic, after I tell you all about the pain that I'm undergoing, you got the, see, look at that. The RSO Plus is amazing. $10. Did you get it for $10? Wait, before I start talking about cannabis and cannabis history, because that's what we're doing, we're going back before 1937, when cannabis basically was America's #1 analgesic. I got ounce and a half. So Schwarzy got an ounce and a half and got some RSO Plus. Hey, that is fantastic. I know, I got them for $10 a piece. It was crazy. It was crazy. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Bang. I appreciate it. It was a great deal. It's good. That's good. So, anyway, so tonight I may not be on too long because the pain is pretty much overwhelming. So I'm high on over-the-counter medications. Not over-the-counter, pharmacopoeia medication. Damn it. You need a prescription shit medication. So that's kind of got me mentally. It's like I can't think properly when I take medication like that. So I need cannabis to get my brain back to right. And this, I'm already feeling better. Already feeling mentally better. Pain, still in pain. But mentally, I am feeling incredible. Wait, would a tincture on the eye help? Oh. RSO in the eye. I know. No. It'd be best not. I've got a double laceration. It's like literally a crisscross right on my cornea. So right in the center. Most painful fucking thing ever. But would an RSO help? No. No. No, keep in mind there's got to still be some kind of residual chemical or something in there that would probably make my eye sting. Everything has made my eye sting. So I on the way home last night, I stopped and got these eye drops that the pharmacist recommended, and it burned. It burned and it burned. It was ridiculous. I was like, no, no. I got home, smoked a couple joints. Listen, I took some of the gummies. These are the live rosin RSO gummies. They more than anything that I've tasted, so delicious. So delicious. Flavor was off the charts. Again, that's gold flower cannabis here in Florida. So, anyways, no, RSO in the eye, that's interesting. That's interesting. But I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Only because of the consistency, maybe the way it's going to be sitting in your eye. I just wouldn't. I would. Oh, it hurts. You talk about putting RSO in the eye, and my eye right now is like, no. um, but no, I wouldn't recommend that. So I have an antibiotic that's like a cream that goes in the eye, but that's also painful. That hurts. When I put that, it hurts. Angie put it in. I was like a baby. I was like squirming all over the place. That was terrible. Eye pain, mouth pain. Those are terrible pains to have to go through. Um, and so I mean, whenever you go through something that like that, it's hard. And I'm telling you, I should have taken more precaution. I should have, I don't know what else I should have done, but regardless, it's going to take a couple days. It's actually the doc said it'll take about a week before I really start feeling any better. I'm like, that's a long time. That's a long time to deal with that much pain. They're like, oh no, it's a couple days. I'm like, still couple days. It's like nothing was good enough. They're like, a week. I'm like, a week is too long. A couple days is too long. Okay, so we're rambling on tonight, trying to talk about, but no, don't do an RSO in the eye. Trying to talk about cannabis pre 1937. So cannabis was legal. It was legal in the pharmacies stocked it. It was hemp was everyday infrastructure. It was rope, cordage, canvas, seed oil, animal feed. Long before the counterculture of it existed, the wartime government even revived it in 1942 because we needed hemp. They brought it back after it was made illegal in 37. The government, wartime, brought it back and said people need to grow hemp. But 1942, they revamped it with hemp for victory when supply lines broke. So the government has even jumped back on their own words. When they need it to benefit them, then they make it a mandate. When they need it gone to benefit them, they make it a mandate. That's why I don't trust what our government puts out there, because they're doing it for their own benefit. They're doing it to back their larger global efforts. And keep in mind, the global Bilderberg, or whatever you want to call it, the global elites, they basically got together in 1925. International drug treaties began controlling cannabis in trade. So they didn't make it illegal, but they started to control, in trade, not outright banning it in any way, but that really started some of the policy climate for the U.S. Mm. The U.S. started to jump on board with international treaties to control and tax and regulate cannabis, but not to ban it. But when they found that they can make more money controlling a product and controlling what type of product people use. Remember, cannabis was medicine. Cannabis we could grow ourselves. So, all right, here's the big one. Cannabis we can grow. That means we have control. If we can grow it, we have control over it. Tell me that's not wild. Like I said, cannabis can make fuel. Cannabis makes fuel. That means we could grow our own fuel, and we would not have to be dependent upon the government or a foreign entity. We would control it ourselves. Oh, any light in the eye kills me. So we've talked about hemp ethanol fuel many times here on the show, and I go over it because I feel like it's one of my things that pull me. Like in life, I feel like that's the type of thing that pulls me to tell other people about it. By the way, tonight, if I'm a little nonsensical or the brain isn't working exactly as it should, I blame pharmacopoeia. I blame the codeine that I had to take earlier. It did help, yes. And I didn't take very much, but I feel more floaty, not as in control. The cannabis is helping to ground me. The cannabis is helping to keep my control even when I'm taking very heavy medications. The cannabis kind of regulates things out a bit because without the cannabis I'd be a little nauseous. Without the cannabis I'd be a little wavy. And you would think the codeine would take care of my headache, but it's not. Yeah, I think the headache is directly related to the eye ache, so it's numbing things a bit, but it's not getting rid of it. And that's why I'm hoping the noxious kind of loosens up the blood vessels a bit. But this evening, I will blame any nonsensicalness or incoherence on the codeine because it's not something I use on a regular basis. But tonight, I'm using it because my left eye is like I was gonna wear an eye patch. What did I do with it? I was going to wear an eye patch and then I hurt myself. So I put the eye patch on and then it popped it right into my left eye. I was like, oh no. That's how it's going to work for me though. So painful. So no eye patch. But instead, I do have to be, the whole day I've been basically walking around like this, like Popeye or something. So I'm really happy right now. I'm opening the eye. That's a big difference. That's a big change. I like what Schwartzy's coming at with me with here with do some RSO in the eye. No, no. I did eye drops that the pharmacist recommended to me, and it was like fire. It was like fire in my eye. But it's definitely better now than it was before. And that's what you've got to look at. Look, it's crazy knowing that the eye got infected like that. All of a sudden, I got congested and my nose was running like I was sick. So my body was immediately off balance. Because of the pain. I think pain throws your body off balance. And that's why I do promote cannabis for people who want balance, not just getting high, but balance. We all need a little bit of balance. And sometimes cannabis on its own, without all these pain meds, can help bring balance, which then brings clarity of thought because pain messes up our thought. Pain messes up our mind. When we can get out of pain, we can start to think. And that's where cannabis does help me. But right now, cannabis is helping keeping me grounded because the pain pill is so powerful and so overwhelming that, so powerful and so overwhelming that, it's hard to keep it all together. Okay, let's get back into the topic du jour. The topic du jour. Remember, I just said cannabis is fuel, cannabis is medicine. Back then, cannabis was everything, it was every part of our civilized life. Mm. So, I wanted to talk about how it was built, how it began, how the ban started, the ban on cannabis. States first. By the mid 1930s, most states had already passed narcotics laws or adopted the Uniform State Narcotic Drug Act, making it easy to bolt cannabis onto existing prohibitions. But out of everything, cannabis was the only thing that was not a drug, a narcotic, not in any way. The narrative machine really built. So the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, Chief Harry Anslinger, had pushed lawmakers and the press, and created these sensational films like Reefer Madness. That was 1936. And this amplified the panic around cannabis. So they were controlling the narrative. They were controlling the entire thing. Lightsy, welcome. Highly motivated. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you here. Um, so tonight it might be a short show, just reminding people, because I'm in a lot of pain tonight. I'll probably go over it numerous times, but a little bit of pain we're dealing with this evening, so it might be a short show. So tonight we're talking about the beginnings, and you heard that Reefer Madness and these propaganda films started before 1937, before the ban on cannabis. So there was already an engine of people and legislative actions that were trying to control what we thought and how we thought about cannabis. Mm. I'm smoking noxious from Goldflower. Stinky, gorgeous, sweet on the end. Really a beautiful strain. Lovely smoke. And again, we talked about it at the beginning of the show. $10 eights, $10 gummies, $10 RSO plus. Boom. That does not get any better than that. That's sativa RSO. 10 bucks. $10 for a gram. You don't get better. You don't get better. It tastes good and it reacts fantastically. Actually, I should probably take some this evening to help counter some of the pain I'm dealing with. Just quick reminder, if you didn't hear it, my daughter poked me in the eye last night at dinner. It's a double laceration on the cornea, or right to the left of the cornea. So I didn't think it was so serious. And when I got home last night, I passed out because I took some live rosin gummies, which were great. One of the best sleeps of my life. Tasted amazing, but I woke up this morning and the eye was infected. So I went right to the emergency room, where they numbed the eye. They did some shit to it and poked it a little bit. They're like, yep. They did it like this special black light on it. And I go, yeah, we can see a double laceration. I'm like, holy shit. And they're like, yeah, it's nice and deep. I'm like, nice and deep. So it's going to take a while to heal. And it's pretty gnarly. Why do I tell you about that? Because it hurts. I tell you about that because that shit hurts. Exotic Alchemy. Welcome. Highly motivated. Welcome to the show. So, oh, and again, Exotic, send me an address that I can send the Schumann resonator to you and some tea. I'm including some lovely tea and a tea steeper. So you've got a tea steeper, some lovely tea, and the Schumann resonator. Do it whenever you can. When you got some time, no rush, no push. Um, so tonight I'm dealing with the pain, which is giving me a pretty bad headache, even though I'm on codeine. But the codeine's got me all floaty and lofty and shit. So I'm smoking more weed to ground me once again. What a cycle I'm on, right? If the cannabis could actually take away the eye pain, I would only be smoking some sativas. That's nerve and bone pain. Indica, and again, sativa indica hybrid, just the shape of a plant, but easy to talk about at the moment. Smoke through it. Rob Harmon, welcome. Highly motivated. I'm trying to smoke through it, brother. I am. Um, and I have been at most part, but 2 hours ago I took a codeine. It's the first one I've taken in a very long time, like a very long time. This morning at the emergency room, they numbed the eye, so that did last a little bit. No, this is the good eye. That's the good eye. That's the bad one. But I wanted to do the show regardless because I'm, for me, the show is energy, community. It's all of us together. And I like to show that, look, nothing holds me back. So, oh, you did send me a message also. Awesome. I'm glad I caught the show. I'm glad you caught it as well. See, this is the energy of it. And it's so happy to have everybody, whether you're here for 5 minutes or 50 minutes or 15 or whatever. It's great energy because it's stored energy. I feel like this show takes in energy from everyone, and we kind of store it like a crystal does. It's too small. Is it too small? Is it too small? It's too tiny. Oh, how does my eye do with the smoke? Actually, it's not doing great with the smoke. So if I just start crying out of one eye, I'm not sad. I'm in a lot of pain, but I'm not sad. So I'm cutting up a joint so that it's perfect, right? And it's another one of the noxious. I rolled two. Earlier, I smoked the emerald apricot. That was absolutely delicious. And again, $10 eights, $10 eights. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's keep talking about cannabis pre 1937. So remember, in 1936, Reefer Madness came out. In 1936, the Federal Bureau of Narcotics was creating propaganda films before they made it illegal. They were already creating a narrative. They were already creating, you know, this angst, these questions. Is it legal? Is it not? What is this? People didn't know about it because it was covered over. I mean, they were using it. So I guess as it started to disappear, they just didn't pay attention, or they started to think it was bad. We don't know. But it's the propaganda films that made them change their minds, that made them kind of change their mental stance on things. So, okay. So 1937, the big switch. Congress, I'm reading, by the way, I'm reading with one eye. Congress passes the Marijuana Tax Act. On paper, it's a tax. In practice, it's a trap. So there are order forms, registration, and $100 ounce transfer taxes for the unregistered made normal commerce impossible. So $100 an ounce made commerce at the time, made selling weed impossible because they priced it out of the market. So the federal government was charging a tax, $100 an ounce. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let me see. So the AMAs, I guess that's the American Medical Association, Dr. William C. Woodward testified against it, warning Congress they were criminalizing medicine. Then he was ignored, and then the law was signed August 2nd, 1937, and it became effective October 1st, 1937. Wow. So doctors, the American Medical Association stood up against the Federal Bureau of Narcotics. It's a lot of fucking words for me right now. This coding fucks me up entirely. So, a doctor from the AMA, American Medical Association, stood up and basically said they're criminalizing medicine. Wow. Back then, that's a big deal. It's a big deal because others should have been making more noise. And no matter how much noise was made, the federal government deemed it illegal. Um, Okay, so it wasn't a pure medical science decision. It was a policy project driven by bureaucratic momentum, radicalized moral panic, and a desire for uniform control. Wow. That is a freaking mouthful. That's a lot. But that's exactly what happened when they criminalized marijuana, cannabis. So we're going to jump forward a couple of years. So 1937, they passed it. They passed this bill criminalizing cannabis. I'm not getting a good hit out of this. I guess that's better. If not, I'll cut it again. Maybe I should poke it with something. Is there something I can poke it with? There is. There is. There is. We're just going to do a little pokey here at the center. Oh, it's very resinous. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We're going to do it. Yes. But, oh, shit. What did I do? I don't know what I did. But it works. Lovely. Okay. So let's go forward a couple of years. After they did the big switch, after they criminalized cannabis in 1937, let's jump forward 1942. So cannabis removed from the US pharmacopoeia. This is enormous. Remember, from the 1850s to the early 1940s, 1942, cannabis was in medical pharmacopoeia. And even when, even when the American Medical Association came up against the criminalizing of cannabis, they said it was the criminalizing of medicine. The government took it out. The government took it out of pharmacopoeia. They took it out of the medical books in 1942. Wow, that's a big deal. Its therapeutic legitimacy was erased in mainstream medicine in 1942. 10,000 years of cannabis medicine was erased just like that because the government deemed it so. And then in 1944, the LaGuardia Committee, New York Academy of Medicine, publishes a large study contradicting reefer madness. claiming Ainslinger's policies, publicly attacking it. So basically the New York Academy of Medicine, so not the American Medical Association at this point, which already came up against the federal government, but now another. So it wasn't medical. Cannabis was never criminalized because of medical reasons, which is an incredible thing to say because it's one of the narratives that were pushed, that it's the fault of the medical industry. But instead, look, the AMA, American Medical Association, the New York Academy of Medicine, they published a huge study contradicting everything from Reefer Madness and Ainslinger's campaigns, the Federal Bureau of Narcotics director at the time. So that's 1944. So even though the laws had changed and public view was already shaped, the medical institutions were still fighting back. See, if I'm vaping the flower, I'm not dealing with butane. If I'm vaping the flower from the venti, I'm not dealing with butane like I am right now. So, jumping forward to 1951 through 1956, it's called the Boggs Act and Narcotics Control Act. So the Boggs Act and the Narcotics Control Act, they jack up federal penalties, treating marijuana like a hard narcotic. So from 1951 to 1956, they really pushed the narrative to treat cannabis, marijuana, as a hard narcotic. So all the years of research and understanding, and that cannabis is fuel and paper and medicine, they're creating a false narrative to control civilization, to control the populace. This is wild stuff. So cracks in the frame by 1969 to today. So the fight to change cannabis back, to understand it as a holistic healing plant, really started again in 1969. 1969, the beginning of the new revolution of cannabis. So Leary versus the United States, 1969, Supreme Court strikes down the Marijuana Tax Act, self-incrimination scheme. Congress responds with the Controlled Substances Act of 1970, putting cannabis in Schedule 1. Remember, I'm reading with one eye. One good eye at the moment. That's all I can see. The other one all fucked up. I'm like, all fucked up. So one act was knocked down, another one was brought up. 1972, Nixon's Schaefer Commission recommends decriminalizing possession. The White House ignored it. So Nixon? Really? I mean, was he so bad? What did he do? He listened to some conversations. He wanted to make marijuana legal, decriminalized. What a smart guy. What a smart guy. What a smart guy Nixon was. All right, maybe not. No, I mean, no, he wanted to decriminalize cannabis. That's a pretty smart move. So that was 1972. And of course, the White House ignored him entirely. In 2018, the Farm Bill legally separates hemp from marijuana. Industrial hemp returns federally in 2018. Now, 2024, last year to now, the Department of Justice, the Department of the DEA proposes moving marijuana to Schedule 3. Hearings and rulemakings are currently ongoing, and as of September 24th, nothing is final. Nothing is final. They're still talking, because what it would require at this point is a signature from the president. a signature from the president. And our president has mentioned that, yes, this is something that they want to do. This is something that he's looking forward to doing, but he's waiting for an opportunity. He's waiting to distract us from something else. SST, Travi, welcome. Highly motivated. Good to have you on the show. Dealing with a little pain tonight. Had to take a codeine earlier. I'm not used to that. So I'm actually using the cannabis to help level me. The codeine has got me lifted, but not gifted. The codeine has me lofty and mentally can't clasp down, can't think. So I had to smoke a lot more. I'm smoking the noxious from Goldflower. But the cannabis is helping to ground me. I was feeling nauseous because of the codeine. I didn't feel hungry, even though I should eat, but I didn't feel hungry. That the codeine it's just destroying the entire system. So the one pill that I took, which is like the first in ages, in like so long, it's totally messing up my body. And I need cannabis now. So I'm going to make a cannabis tea tonight. And I'm going to probably eat a little bit of raw cannabis to reset my stomach. Now, I feel like that codeine is terrible stuff, but the eye pain is very bad. Mouth pain and eye pain are terrible things. So if you've got to do it, sometimes you've got to do it. I'm not saying don't do something. I'm not saying put yourself in pain. Yeah, I'm just saying. But the cannabis is helping as well, and it's relaxing in different ways. So tonight we're talking history of cannabis, and again, as much of it as I can talk about, because mentally I'm here and I'm there. I told you tonight's show, it could be short. I'm getting some crazy pain, and but I still want to be here. I still want to do the show. I still work today. You know, I still was all over the place. I still did some marketing. I did this and I did that, and I even though I was in pain. Well, no, wait. When I went to the emergency room this morning, so they numbed my eye. That worked for a while. It did. It helped. Um, but now I'm like this bright light. It's pretty tough, and I can feel when I catch the light in certain directions. It's really painful. I know rest is best, but what am I doing? I don't. I don't rest the body enough, and even though I should, I like Rob said. Look, he goes smoke through it, and I do. Normally, I do. I smoke through it because if I'm not working, then nobody is. I mean, everybody is. But I can't let them work all day long without me setting an example that I do the same. I can't let people that are working overtime, people that are really pushing, like the bud tenders, like, all right, the bud tenders in Goldflower in the store, these people are working incredibly hard. They're on their feet all day long, customer after customer after customer, because we've been incredibly busy, and they are adapting to so many different styles of people and needs and medication. And they are moving back and forth really fast all day long. So I can't take a day off if they can't take a day off. So the harder they work, the harder I'm going to work. And, that's just, now I wouldn't take codeine during the day. So whatever eye issues are going on, I'm just going to have to grin and bear it. There's a lot to do. I might see how I feel when I get up in the morning. If I'm feeling a little worse for wear, then I'll sleep a little bit later. I don't know. I'm hoping tomorrow it's feeling better. I'm hoping maybe tomorrow I can put really real time back on the road, because that's always what's required. See, I'm a little spacey. I'm here. I'm there. All right, getting back to the topic. So let's jump into big pharma. Let's jump into look, we talked about the American Medical Association. We talked about the New York medical thingy bob thingamabob. Wow. brain is shutting down. Um, yeah, after this joint, we might be done. But big pharma. So pre 1937, doctors and pharma companies sold cannabis medicine. The AMA actually opposed the 1937 crackdown. So the original federal ban wasn't written for big pharma. If anything, it cut against the medical establishment of the time. Decades later, some pharma players have opposed state level legalization. Um, and this would be Insys Therapeutics, had given 500,000 to fight Arizona's 2016 adult use measures while advancing a synthetic THC product. That's modern political economy, not the 1937 origin story. No, but look how it's gone now. So that's modern economy fighting against, saying, look, we're pushing our product more, so let's go ahead and make sure they for the total of people, let's make sure that's illegal. So right there is a direct big pharma now. Wow, see that's weird. Okay, so I don't even know how to feel about it because originally big pharma was fighting for cannabis. Now look at them. What happened? That's a bigger question here. Let me say what happened. So what happened to big pharma? Let's oh god, I can't write with one eye. One eye and reading and writing with one eye is like some crazy stuff. But decades later, that's crazy. Okay, so DuPont and Hearst killed hemp to protect nylon and timber. Oh, that's big. Oh, that's a big claim. And there's evidence. So, popular claims, historians find little direct proof of an organized industrial conspiracy driving the 1937 Act. The stronger paper trail points to state laws, FBN bureaucracy, and panic politics. But here's the thing, what pushed those politics to push those narratives? What pushed the politics to create those laws? It was DuPont and it was Hearst because they were going to lose on big timber and they were going to lose on nylon and cotton because all of these things could be made from cannabis, from marijuana, from hemp. We can make fuel, we can make paper, we can make clothing and nylon and timber. We can replace wood with fast growing in 100 days, boom, ready to be harvested. Cannabis, male hemp, industrial hemp. So yes, absolutely, DuPont and Hearst killed hemp to protect nylon and timber. So cannabis medicines were official and common before 1937. Ooh, I can feel shit. I'm like this. Okay, it wasn't the table, it's me. I feel, and it's still painful. So even though I took the stupid codeine, I'm still in pain. I would imagine I'd be in more pain though. I would imagine I would be in a lot more pain. Look, I'm just like, wow, that's crazy. I am. Oh, that's why I hate taking these medications. I only like to stick with cannabis. But the codeine is making me feel like I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. On a boat. So really, the question is why? How did we lose cannabis? How did we lose? Was it because of policy outran the science and headlines outran physicians? I don't believe it's totally this because bureaucracy needed a story and the story needed a villain. We didn't ban a demon, we tax trapped a tool, food, fuel, fiber, and medicine, and taught a nation to forget how good cannabis really was. And it did. So no matter how you want to look at it, the bureaucracy from the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, which was probably influenced by DuPont and Hearst, created a narrative and destroyed, taxed something so beneficial for our economy, cannabis. The data, we lost cannabis to fear, paperwork, bribery. So that's big. That's big. I think it's big that the medical industry originally advocated for cannabis. My message to the American Medical Association, the all the medical associations out there, what happened to you? What happened to you that you stopped promoting cannabis? You stopped promoting holistic, clean medicine, shit that works. What happened to you that you stopped standing up against what was wrong? You used to stand up to what was wrong. Many times you did it. What knocked you down so hard that now you're on the opposite side of the fence? Because now the medical associations seem to be on the opposite side of the fence, fighting against the legalization, the decriminalization of cannabis. Wow. It's I'm probably only going to be on for a little bit longer tonight, everybody. Troublesome Red. Everybody, welcome Troublesome Red 2. Highly motivated. Welcome to the show. See, that's great. Popping in, you're here, fantastic. Tonight we were talking about, the prohibition of cannabis starting around 1937, where that's when they changed the law, but it didn't start then. They were trying back in 1925. That was kind of the beginning of the U.S. learning to be able to control a plant through taxation, and then they just overtaxed it to the point of not being able to afford to to do this as a crop. You're coming home from the dentist. See, mouth pain and eye pain are like some of the worst. So tonight I'm doing the show with a little bit of eye pain. I talked about it in the beginning. I went to the emergency room this morning. So last night, my daughter pokes me in the eye, and I now have a double infected laceration right on the left of my cornea. So everything looks very blurry, but I can see, and I have it open. And the doc said, the more you have it open, you get oxygen to it. It's going to help heal it faster. I'm like, okay. But then when I close my eye, it hurts. Then I open my eye and it hurts. So blinking hurts. And that's given me a headache. And the codeine doesn't seem to be taking care of the headache, but it seems less. The eye pain on its own is different. That's just painful. I can't touch the eye because it really hurts. I can't rub the eye because it really hurts because of the lacerations on the bloody top. And it's not her fault. I love her so much. It's my fault, really, in the long run. uh, you got a tooth out. Oh, so your face is numb. But when her face isn't numb anymore, that's going to be painful. So I took a codeine, and I don't normally do that. Normally, I would just smoke a sativa. And for mouth work, I would smoke a sativa because that's nerve and bone pain. And nerve and bone pain, I look like a stroke victim without the brain damage. Don't be, ow. Oh, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Yeah, whenever I come back from mouth pain from the dentist, it's pretty traumatic. It's pretty traumatic. Any dental work is so tough, so tough. I feel for you there. Right now, I'm feeling for you with eye pain. So we're talking about cannabis pre 1937, and as you see, the Medical Association, the AMA, testimony against Marijuana Tax Act of 1937, and that was Dr. William Woodward. The Tax Act worked, and it got struck down in 1969. So from 37 to 1969, the Marijuana Tax Act was in effect, and it was taxing a single ounce $100. So the tax to the government for 1 ounce of marijuana was $100, making it at the time back then. It cost nothing. It cost nothing. And to tax it like that, obviously you're doing it to tax it out of existence. Cannabis removed from the U.S. pharmacopoeia in 1942. That's crazy. We talked about it earlier. Look, they took it out of the medical books. They took it out, and they've erased it from our civilized understanding. Civilization changed, like in the early 1940s is when it started to change. It started to be shaped by Hearst, by DuPont, by some of those other people, the Rockefellers. I don't know, by some of them. By some of them. By all of them? No, I don't know if all of them were into it. Okay. Um, then there was a Narcotics Control Act for a couple of years. So, anyways, going forward, 2018, the Hemp Farm Bill has reinitialized cannabis and brought it now back to the table for growing, for fuel, for medicine, for many things. But there's still a lot of control. The DEA has even scheduled a Schedule 3 proposal, which is still pending the president's signature. That's what it's waiting on right now. It's waiting on the president to sign it. And I believe he will if there's a large enough disaster that he needs to cover. Like, look here, well, and don't look over here. Pay attention to this, but don't pay attention to that. That's how our government has always worked. So, of course, they're going to look for an opportunity to use it as distraction. That's what I believe. I can't really get a good hit out of this. It's very upsetting. It's really nice. It's stinky. This is noxious. And it is stinky. This is some stinky ass weed. I could smell it, like the smoke, even though I'm congested. And I'm congested and it's just crazy because of the eye and the nasal and everything. Everything's really connected more than you realize. Oh, and the smoke is rough on the eye. I got to be careful. Oh, it's so painful. So don't get poked in the eye, okay? Take this as a PSA. Tonight, a PSA from Highly Motivated. Don't get poked in the eye. But it wasn't her fault. Oh, wow. But I'm glad I got to do the show a little bit tonight, everybody. I'm glad I got to come out here and at least let's connect and talk. I still haven't started talking about freedom. Tonight's talk is just about cannabis pre-1937, the beginning of the control. Look, the American Medical Association came out against it and said you are criminalizing medicine. That was the beginning, 1937. And now the medical institutions come against cannabis instead of for it. Maybe they're going the wrong direction. Maybe they need to come back. And it's crazy. Yeah, the modern pharma opposition, like the INSIS in Arizona in 2016. And it's obviously not the first time Big Pharma now has paid to criminalize cannabis. But isn't that crazy where they once pushed it? They now, because of the money, that's it. Because of the money. That's wild. So tonight we've got micro topics. We have things to talk about. And I wanted to go as long as I can go as I can handle the pain. And it's feeling a little better. I feel that it's there. And the light does bother me quite a lot. Let me just here. I gotta reposition the hat so that the hat covers that light, because when it hits the eye now, terrible pain, like it shoots right to the brain. So the eye is crazy sensitive. Let me see. America's erasing something. No surprise. Right. No surprise. Now, America may not be the only one who erases shit, but they erase the most. They erase the most. America erases history, and we forget it. We go along with their new narrative. We go along with their new story. because we forget the original stories. Okay. But that's why we have shows like Highly Motivated. That's why we have shows to remind you how amazing the super powerful medicine, fuel, clothing, building material. Did I say medicine? I did. It's 1,001 uses cannabis. This show is here to remind you. We are here to remind you that you can make fuel that will help save the planet. Maybe the bigger deal is that we can grow it. We can grow it and control it. We can grow it and control it. Do you hear what I just said? We can grow it, we can control it. That means they can't control it. That's a big deal. Oh, that's a big deal. Oh, okay. I do want to talk about this. Wait. This is okay. Where is it? DI. Okay, gateway process. Whoa, this is huge. Another micro topic: zombies. Wait. Let me find this. So zombies are real, and zombies have been classified. And I'm just throwing out the teasers here, but zombie movies have basically been survival guides from the government on what to do if shit hits the fan. They are also desensitizing us to the fact that zombies are real. They are desensitizing us, getting us ready. Look, The Walking Dead's been going on for years, and you know exactly what to do. Zombies come out, you get your fucking crossbow, you get some arrows, you learn how to shoot, you make sure you got a machete and a shotgun. You have an arsenal of things, but micro topic. So tonight's micro topic, after we just talked about cannabis pre-1937 and the pharmaceutical company doing a whole 180, tonight we're now talking a little bit about zombies. So the government, and I will give you specifics. Here, I will give you specifics on what programs and the classification methods. So zombies, in different senses, are real. Okay, let's dive into it just a little bit. So it's called Conplan 8888, and it's often misquoted as CONOP, the U.S. Strategic Command's Unclassified Training Plan, nicknamed Counter Zombie Dominance. The 8888 you heard is the plan number, with 2011 edition labeled 88-11. It's a real government document written as a scenario to teach joint military planning, and it was later released via FOIA. I don't know what the hell that is. So you can read it for yourself now. And so what is it exactly and why it exists? So the authors, the owners of the U.S. Strategic Command, Plans and Policy, Headquarters, United States Strategic Command, CDR, USS, TRATCOM, CONPLAN 8888-11, Counter Zombie Dominance, 30th of April 2011. Purpose: it's explicitly a training tool for the joint operational planning process. The authors say they picked zombies to avoid the political baggage of using real countries or groups, and they even posted it on the Intellipedia so others could use the scenario. So I believe this is something that they are hiding. Here, let me put this down. So they are hiding it in plain sight. And the government does this because then they release movies and they back these movies. So then you have to question, why is the government backing The Walking Dead or Night of the Living Dead or this or of that because they talk explicitly about zombies. So the mission in plain English, from the document, protect humankind from zombies. If directed, eradicate zombie threats and civil authorities in keeping order and restoring services during and after an outbreak. That sounds like zombies to me, not of foreign countries. The 8 zombie categories. It plans for 8 specific zombie categories. So if you're talking about zombies and you're just throwing that shit out there and you're throwing the name out there, you're not going to have a specific plan for specific zombies. Zombie would be the encompassing word. But oh no, here, let's talk. So there are 8 zombie types, each with a short threat model. This is part of why the document became internet famous, because of its threat model. Pathogenic zombies, PZs, created by infection, virus, bacteria, contagion. Okay. Number 2, radiation zombies, RZ, caused by extreme EM or particle radiation, electromagnetic or particle radiation. Number 3, number 3, evil magic zombies, EMZs. Evil magic zombies. An evil magic zombie. You heard me say it. I'm sorry. This is a government document. Created via occult experimentation. By the way, the document is based on fact-finding missions done by the government, by very smart people in very secretive positions. And sometimes disinformation is the information. Sometimes they put it in plain sight and we miss it. And then they say, well, we told you. We figured you were prepared. So they have plausible deniability. Evil magic zombies. I'm stuck on this one. All right, next. And again, based on fact finding at the time. Before, this was classified for a long time. Space zombies. SZ. Space zombies from outer space or of extraterrestrial toxins, includes a note about zombie satellites, not dangerous to people, but a risk to SATCOM. They cite that in May 2010, Galaxy something, there was an incident. Zombie satellites in space. Interesting, but space zombies were something else entirely. That's interesting because you heard what it said. From outer space or extraterrestrial toxins. That's an interesting finding. Weaponized zombies, WZ. Biomechanical creations used as weapons. The plain name checks the film, The Crazies for the Toxic Exposure Idea. Interesting. So you weaponized zombies. The government weaponizing zombies. You all saw the movies, The Night of the Living Dead, and see how it happened. There was a spill. They had them contained. They were testing on them. It all starts with our government fucking around with shit they shouldn't be. Like cannabis. The government messing with things they shouldn't be. Leave things alone. I don't know, zombies, if they're if we have a zombie outbreak, I would hope everybody would come together. It would be like a giant night of The Walking Dead, or of what is it, the zombie show that's been on forever, whatever. And maybe that's why America's erasing history. Maybe there was a zombie outbreak at one point. So there's more zombies. Listen, there's the symbiont-induced zombies. A symbiotic life form turns a healthy host into a zombie-like organism. And that was number 6, and that's an SIZ. Number 7, vegetarian zombies. Vegetarian zombies. I'm reading it here. This is a government document. They don't attack humans. They eat crops and plants. Um, so it's more of a joke. But it's not. It's a huge food security risk. So food security risk, but they eat crops and plants. A vegetarian zombie, not a risk to us, but to our food source, our food chain, a risk on the vegetarian side. Sorry, folks, this week we don't have any salad. Those fucking zombies again ate everything. Ate everything, I'm telling you. Number 8, the chicken zombies. CZ. Yes, this section exists. Um, it cites reports of improperly euthanized hens reviving and staggering before dying again. Unnerving to behold, but no direct threat to humans. So, where half of this thing seems like a joke, the other half seems pretty serious. And um, what's interesting about the document that came out, which is the 8888, um, I think again, in plain sight, they're giving us information. In plain sight, they're telling us things. Are we listening? Are we looking? Are we watching? Do we really know what's happening around us? I don't think so. I really don't think so. So this is just a reminder that one of our micro topics tonight were about zombies. Let me see. There is. It's not a joke, but a non-traditional way. Wait. Let me see what I just jumped into here. Vegetarian zombies, because zombies aren't humans or animals. The documentation says that you can be hostile and take actions against them. So these documents are out there. Look it up. That's the Konos 8888-11. How operations would run, the phases, operate. Oh, they have a whole Oh, wow. They even tell you how to seize them, how to put them down, to stabilize, to seize, to deter, to shape. Okay. Oh, oh. Okay. Before I get off here tonight, before I go, and by the way, don't forget Friday, Sunday, Wednesday. We're right here. We're highly motivated. Even if I'm having super pain, and I'm in super pain tonight. It's a headache. I've got my brain is all funky because of the codeine. My eye is like on fire. Fire, I tell you. Double cornea lacerations. It's not her fault. It happens. Shit happens. Shit happens. But I'm having trouble thinking and concentrating. But I still wanted to get on the show. And I wanted to remind everybody that no matter what, our energy, it's there. We push together, we pump together. My energy has changed for the show. I feel a little bit better and I feel a little bit more social. And and I needed to be here as well. This show is for me, it's for you, it's for all of us. And we come together to strengthen each other when we all need each other. So I need the show, so I get on the show. I look to the show for strength and support, and there we go. Because I still work every day and I have to still find a way to keep going and keep moving. And so, yeah. So even though I'm having, some eye issues and some eye pain, it doesn't mean stop. It means do whatever you can do and just keep going. And if you need relaxation, then don't be afraid to relax. Don't be afraid to rest. But remember, you're powerful and you are stronger than you know. And sometimes great pain teaches you how strong you can be. Okay. That's it. I don't know. Wait, what was I going to talk about? The other micro topic. Okay. So, okay, and these are micro topics that we're going to talk about again down the road. Down the road, we're going to talk about it again. We're going to bring these things up. Zombies, the government, of course. Why not? Cannabis. We're going to sneak it in everywhere we can. And of course, if you're in Florida, you got to shop at Goldflower Cannabis. It's a medical cannabis provider of the most beautiful, organic, hand trimmed living soil. Best price. Best price. Look, nobody can argue it now. They are just on top of the game. Check out Goldflower Cannabis. And don't forget Lakeland, Florida. They're going to have a huge sale, I'm sure. Lakeland, October 4th. grand opening, October 4th, grand opening, Lakeland, Florida. Boom. From 9 to 4. 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock. It's going to be discounts and music and people and excitement. I'm pumped. So if you're close to Lakeland, come on down. We're going to have lots of swag, lots of giveaway, just a really great time of people. I think like the first 100 people are going to get goodie bags. Great goodie bags, though. Look, knowing Goldflower, they're always throwing in some awesome stuff. They're giving away lots of goodies. Okay, so the topic du jour, the other topic, was a declassified CIA and DIA gateway process papers. Monroe Institute work. So, what it is, 1983, Army Intelligence and Security Command report titled Analysis and Assessment of Gateway Process. Declassification released under the FOIA in the early 2000s. Its content, it analyzes the Monroe Institute's HemiSync audio program and speculates using 1980s physics metaphors about consciousness, holographic reality, and the absolute. The absolute. The fuck is the absolute? Wait, what is the absolute? Ooh. Okay, so it talks about the absolute. Why it gets linked in the matrix idea. The report uses phrases like the universe is a hologram and describes reality as an information system accessible through altered states. That would that would be the Akashic record. The Akashic record that we speak of. It's a mix of physics and meditation theory. It never claims we're literally in a computer simulation. It's closer to saying consciousness interacts with a universal field, an absolute. So DARPA and the DoD, Department of Defense, and simulation research. So large scale modeling, agencies such as DARPA and the Department of Defense fund enormous computer based wargaming and synthetic environment projects. For example, the Sentient World Simulation. The concept came out of Purdue University in the mid 2000s. They're simulating everything, like everything we do. They're simulating all of our lives that they get through the census, and they are simulating all situations. They have multiple simulations based on how the world is changing or how they want to change it too. There's a lot going on. So articles sometimes say these projects aim to build a digital twin of the Earth. See, right there, which gets spun as the government does admit or doesn't totally admit, but knows that we live in a simulation. So these are um, big data models of human behavior, um, and philosophical statements about our cosmos. So keep in mind these papers, the gateway papers, and the programs that they had going on were all revolving around the discoverance of our space time, the discoverance of, are we living in a simulation? Are we living in a altered state of reality that would be one of billions of trillions, a program? So, and as a program, can we control reality? So the CIA, the Gateway follow-ups, and Stargate remote. So the Stargate remote viewing files. The CIA's declassified Stargate material, 1970s, 1990s, covers psychic experiments and remote viewing. So some session notes mention non-physical realms, which conspiracy blogs equate with simulation layers. These were exploratory parapsychology projects. So some of them very deep. It's very hard to take that as word that we are living in a simulation, but there are many different things that start to point to it. And when the government has documentation saying so, and something again, they're hiding in the layers of truth or reality. They don't know anything about anything, but here is the information. Uh, so confirmed it's been declassified, and it does have a lot of matrix-like language. It is freely available through the CIA FOIA electronic reading room. But it's a metaphysical explanation of consciousness and holography, and not a direct declaration, but read between the lines. And it's a declaration that we are code inside of a computer. Now, any computer, a computer, what computer, by what understanding of a computer do we look at? What is a computer in the larger realm of anything? I mean, we could be just some tiny itsy bitsies and it just, everything is exponentially larger. And our understanding of physics and and everything is within this bubble of universe that we live in. That might just be a bubble in a soda pop. Time is time. See what's become of me. Okay. Oh. Anyways, that was it. That's the other topic. So zombies and being in a simulation matrix. And for what and why? And with so many different things that mathematics prove, physics prove in the wildest ways. Anyways, crazy things that we talk about here on Highly Motivated. Welcome, everybody, again. Thank you for joining the show. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm sorry I can't go any further. The light is killing me. The eye is bad. I've got to go probably do some more medication. But I thank you for being here. I thank you for coming to the show and bringing your energy and your powerful personalities and authenticity, because that's what we're all about. And these topics, these crazy topics that we might talk about, is to remind you of history, to remind you of other realities, to remind you of information that has been buried by lies, has been buried by misinformation, has been buried so that big corporate money makes more money. Well, here's the show that brings back some of the reality. Just some. And maybe some hard to believe. But in that, we're all together. It's cannabis, it's health, it's wellness, it's meeting in the middle, it's everything combined. And I think authenticity and truth plays a role. So here on Highly Motivated, we try to stay authentic, we try to stay true, we try to stay real, because the power is you. The energy is you. Look, you are that unicorn. You are that quantum entanglement of beyond measurable power. Do not box yourself. Do not stifle yourself. Believe in you. It's powerful energy. Believe in you. You are the change. You are the energy. And all of us here on Highly Motivated, together, we are the energy, a big energy, a strong energy. By the way, people, just want to let you know before we end the show, we have Strong Man Caudill. Welcome, Highly Motivated. Good to have you on the show. Yes, that's my declaration for you to the rest of everybody else watching. So we're going live always, Insta Cha-Cha, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, Kick, Rumble, YouTube. Wow. You can find me many places. Oregonji, Highly Motivated. You just got here, strong man, but the show has been going on for a little bit. I got eye problems tonight, having a lot of issues, but you catch us live Friday, Sunday, Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's it. That's Highly Motivated. No expectations. Community, people, energy. You don't have to smoky toke. You don't have to believe in cannabis. You just have to believe in people. You just have to believe in authentic energy, authentic kindness. Anyways, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Highly motivated, highly excited, highly enthusiastic. Beautiful energy for the rest of the week. So it's Wednesday, people. Big energy, big things happening, big things going on. Catch me on the Friday show. Catch me outside. Catch me outside. Catch me outside. Catch me. Catch me. Catch me. Catch me. Catch me outside. It's Friday. 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, or come when you can. Come anytime you can. You're always welcome and always excited to have you as part of the show. All of you. Highly motivated. Have an amazing weekend. No, I'm like, have an amazing weekend. What am I doing? My brain. Have I'll see you Friday. Okay. No codeine on Friday. By Friday, this has got to be feeling better. I can't, it's like everything's blurry on this side. So I'm only seeing shit from this side. I'm like completely off balance. Anyways, thank you again for being here. You're awesome. You're all, you too. You're awesome. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you. I know. I'm loopy. I'm loopy tonight. Everybody have a great night. Ciao. Arrivederci. Do svidania. Wiedersehen. Ciao. Okay. Ciao. 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 What a rough night. Lots of pain, but I smoked right through it.